Two, one. There we go. You're live. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the 81st, oh Lord, 81st episode of the Community Podcast. How is everybody doing today? Please let us know in the comments. Today we have with us Last Known Meal
Hello, hello. It's good to be back.
and TheNeonArcade.
Yo, how's it going?
And Madqueen is with us in spirit, but she is currently doing some tech work, so she's unable to join up today. She's also had a really busy week. I don't know how many people saw, but earlier this week, not earlier this week, on Friday it was, she had a very, very long interview with Mike Pondsmith himself. He took almost 2 hours out of his day to do a whole bunch of lore talk. We're going to get into a little bit of that. We're going to, of course, encourage you guys to go check out the full video on her channel. It was a great talk. Mike is pretty fun in an interview. I don't know why he doesn't do more of them, but he's really awesome. It's because he's so busy. That's why. But yeah, really, really good. And so we'll kind of cover the cliff notes, but we won't go too heavy into it because we do want you to share some love with Madqueen. Go check that out on her channel. It was a great talk, and Mike Pondsmith is a fan. You can find out what one of his favorite TV shows is right now if you check that out. So yeah, interesting. Alrighty, and then of course we had this other little thing called the what was it called, the night city something. I can't
Night
remember.
Shitty Spire or something?
Yeah, something like that happened on I believe it was Thursday. Small amount of people tuned in. I'm sure y'all know very little about that. But yeah, we're going to talk about that and some other news. So, yes, let us know how you're doing. Hello in the chat. Hey, Game Notes. Hey, Ricardo, Rob, a couple others that I see normally. Yeah, it was a good interview. It was a good interview, Game Notes. It was very good. Very enlightening for the direction of the series because Mike, and so let's just quickly talk about this point because this is actually really interesting and it kind of frames the future of Cyberpunk in general. Mike had a very good point. He said that if you kept Cyberpunk 2077 Night City, that whole universe, if you kept that on the same trajectory, English is a friend, in like 20 years of in-game time, you wouldn't have Cyberpunk anymore. You'd have Star Trek or some other like sci-fi show, right? And that Cyberpunk has to be dealt a significant number of setbacks in order for the technology and the world of Cyberpunk to actually stay cyberpunk. And so you have to have this like always teetering on the edge kind of thing. And then every time the technology gets too advanced, you have to like kick it back and reset it a little bit and then let it creep up again and then kind of do that over and over again. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Whoever wants to go first.
I can go first. Generally, when you're talking about that, yeah, now when you say like setbacks in technology, what I think Cyberpunk is doing and how it makes it different than sci-fi is just how people's minds and in what technology they invest in. Because usually, as it is in sci-fi, like especially like some of the shows, like the medicine is doing great, they're traveling across space and everything. Meanwhile, in the world of cyberpunk, that's different. They haven't really gone that far because I think most tech goes to, let's say, warfare on earth, so then they don't really have a focus to go that much out. And when you add those things, that's when you get that dystopian environment. And I don't know, I think like generally the way as Mike talked about it, like where is it going, like there has to be something, another catastrophe which puts the people, like it sets them back a bit so they cannot do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my take on it. So yeah, and that was good.
Yeah, I mean, humanity has to have setbacks, right? If you just go full turkey straight into the future, I mean, yeah, that's pure sci-fi. That's getting up into space and, colonizing and stuff like that. But we had the corporate wars, we had climate change, and we have that in our, our society too, right? It's not just in the cyberpunk timeline. So it kind of just makes the world a little bit more believable. It's like more in reach for us than something, far out into space. And we can quantify it a little bit better, I think, because, yeah, we have setbacks. What are we living in right now, right? 2020 has
Yeah.
been the year of all the setbacks in the world. So, I mean,
True.
it only makes sense that we're gonna have more of these in the future, and it kind of makes, our world, our timeline more aligned with, Cyberpunk's.
I think Elon Musk would disagree with you because I do believe that he created the first brainwave interface device this year. Well, I mean, he like officially like debuted it. So, I mean,
I mean, there's gonna be something catastrophic that happens with that. There's no doubt. Come on, come on.
what?
He's he's
Why you
in
gonna be
over his
hating on the
head.
device already?
Do you not believe that?
Oh,
There has to be some sort of hiccup, whether it's big or small. It has to happen.
well, a hiccup will always happen. I don't know if we'll. The big hiccups are of course, they're going to be like, that's going to be the difference between Atlantis sinking and founding of Rome or something like that. It is significant. There is a significant amount of risk there, but
Yeah.
did you know that when they were creating the first hydrogen bomb and they were going to test it, there was about it was about 50-50 split on the team, and I heard a rumor that they basically decided to like go forward with it on a coin toss. Ooh, English.
Yeah.
Because they were worried that the hydrogen would ignite the hydrogen in the atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
and you would have a cascade effect where the entire atmosphere was burned away after igniting the first bomb.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this was like, yeah, once it's done, it's done. And there's still a fear about that. It's why they moved away from it, because they're like, if it ever does, like our entire atmosphere on the entire planet is gone and everything on the surface is destroyed within like a minute or two. Um, and then probably everything, honestly, probably down to like a couple 100 feet under the ground will also be destroyed. And that's a very worrisome thing. But we now have intercontinental oh good lord, my English today. We have big bombs because of it. Big bombs, like big brains.
But
So
that's the thing. That's what creates
mhm,
cyberpunk. It's mostly the way people think, because if you look at sci-fi shows, it kind of showcases united Earth in a sense, like people working together.
Yeah.
But in what we see in cyberpunk and what we see today is this tribal behavior, because even though we live in huge cities, it's still that tribal behavior. It's still borders. It's still that. So I think we have to go through cyberpunk first to reach the sci-fi. I don't know, until we're completely destroyed, and then you actually can start anew. But I don't know, because that's how it looks like it's
Hmm.
going.
mhm. So I mean
It's like
it's
a lot of these idealized sci-fi worlds like kind of just remove like the whole concept of like ego for people, and
mhm,
like
Mm-hmm.
that they don't want, like, people have their own agendas, and we're seeing it right now in the States and whatever, that power hungry people just they can take the world in whatever trajectory that they want, right? So like
Yeah.
sci-fi going out into space and all that, it's like the almost the idealized, if people come together like Last Known was saying. uh and so yeah, Cyberpunk is almost a little bit more realistic in that sense, in some ways.
Yeah.
mhm.
True. I mean, yeah, we can make all of those things that they have, and obviously we need time as humans, but I don't really doubt it that one time we're gonna have those prosthetic legs that can make us jump or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, it's just a matter of time, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean we'll see. So all right, jumping into Night City Wire. What was your guys' favorite highlights from it? Let's start with the highlights.
I fell in love with the style trailer. I think that's either my first or my second favorite trailer that they've shown so far. Just the colors and the different variations of the style and clothing. And you could even see, like, we talked about an interview with, I forget who it was, a while ago, about designing the clothes and how they wanted to remove like zippers and stuff like that, and just like something as small as that, and seeing like
Mm.
just all the clothing with all the seams, and it still looking aesthetic, but while still it looking futuristic, while still looking like modern in some senses, was
Mm-hmm.
just really cool. It was like a coalescence of like our world and futuristic kind of clothing.
Yeah, I agree. And it was a somewhat a different trailer, editing wise, and also at that end, man, that end
Yeah,
caught
that
me
was
off guard.
some dark stuff.
Was that Arasaka music that we actually had a chance to hear? That Arasaka snippet? I think that was the same track in
I
the
think
end.
so. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
the
so.
one.
Yeah.
Man,
I
that
mean,
was.
and we have more music coming, and I suspect strongly that the last night City Wire is going to be really focused on the music. Kind of continuing on with what we were talking about last week is like I'm still surprised that they haven't done a huge lore dump yet. Like maybe that they really did decide it was unnecessary, and they can get everybody in the door via like style and style over
Mm,
substance or substance
Well,
over style.
they kind of touched on it in the style trailer. They had the little
Hmm.
timeline at the bottom, right? It wasn't super in depth, but it was like how these different styles came to be.
Hmm.
Right? Entropism was the result of the Fourth Corporate War and whatever, and they had the little timeline at the bottom. So maybe they're doing it in little digestible pieces.
Hmm.
yeah. And also how I see it, it's like it's not that much into lore. Like obviously, yeah, like in those images you can have some lore bits and snippets, but like it's more okay. You can do this, you can do that, you can be in this city, and maybe once you load up the game, there is going to be this intro sequence where they kind of go
Mm.
over what was happening before. So I think they say like, okay, let's get the people in the game due to gameplay aspects and obviously the story and everything, and then inside the game they're gonna be maybe learning more about the past and everything because we've seen like those Johnny Silverhand like flashbacks,
Yeah.
so they're definitely going into the history like in some sense.
Hmm. I wonder if because we saw Keanu's bike motorcycle company, right? And it's
Mm.
they have a motorbike in the game. Is that going to be an in-world company, corporation, Arch?
Yeah.
Probably. Well, I mean, I would
Hmm.
imagine
It would
so.
have to. It would have to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing that we kind of were having a little bit of a talk about this yesterday on the podcast, but Ash was saying yesterday he didn't like the feeling that he got about product placement. And I was like, I really don't think it's an actual product placement with the Porsche because I mean it's not like they're making that car and selling it. Like it's a collector's item as is right now.
Yeah.
So I really don't think it's a product placement. I very much doubt any money actually exchanged hands there. I think they were just like, hey, we want to add your car to the game, and they were like, sure.
Mhm. Well,
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, Porsche did have a trailer on their own YouTube page
Hmm.
with the Cyberpunk branding, so it's kind of yeah, it's a collaborative thing, but
Yeah,
I can kind of see where he's coming from. But
yeah.
maybe it's less
I,
to do with the Porsche and more to do with the other products that are out there, like the Old Spice thing that got revealed last week.
I,
I
Cyberpunk
gotta go.
power
I gotta go
chip.
find that.
with the Old Spice commercials are one of the few commercials that I actually enjoy from a company that I'll actually like sit down and watch it. You remember the old
Terry Crews one?
yeah, well, no. So there was Terry Crews, and then there was the other guy, which
Oh, you smell like a yeah, yeah, that
I
guy.
I
Yeah, I'm on a
I want to
horse.
say his name is Isaiah.
I think you're
Um,
right.
yeah, but he was. I mean that whole thing that they did. There was this whole like um, series of videos, and then he had this whole like one day he had like a whole live stream where he did like just it was semi live stream. He was like live. They were essentially live tweeting, but they were live tweeting actual videos. So he would like say things and respond to comments, and there was somebody who's like, "This isn't live," and then he responded to that comment like live, going like a minute or two later. So it was semi live, I guess you could say, but it's like the show is pretty great. Or not the show, the advertising behind campaign behind that was pretty great, and I think it's pretty awesome. So like and which is
PGK
sad
said,
because I bought a grand total of like 4 soaps from them since then. So it's like, yeah,
yeah, PJK says Isaiah Mustafa.
yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it was Isaiah Mustafa. His last name is brilliant. I hope he's been doing some stuff lately. He had good chops as an actor. He really wanted to play one of the Marvel characters, but I don't think he got the ability to do that. So
Maybe he's kind of a one-trick pony.
eh, No, I think
No?
he's got enough experience to do other stuff. It's whether or not, because the trouble with acting is you can get so like pinned in, right? So
Mm,
easily. So like, oh well, you're this kind of actor, and then you get stuck in that for the rest of your life, and it's like
yeah.
it's brutal and you hate it. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Hmm.
anyways, what was your guys' favorite cars from the show so far? And what do you think, actually, before we get into that? So, what do you think about the Porsche car in the game? Ash was also thinking, like, it's not a very sci fi car, so he was a little disappointed with the concept. Um, I think it's.
Isn't it in in the
Yes, Silverhand.
2020?
Yeah, he drives that in the lore, so that I
Yeah.
think that was the one of the main reasons
Yeah.
why they I mean they saw the collaboration and it fit into the universe with the lore. So
Mm,
I don't think
yeah.
it's just out of the blue completely.
Oh no, definitely
Yeah.
not. No, Disney is also like in the Lord, the
Hmm.
Yeah.
mouse.
Yeah.
That was funny. Like what? How?
But
Oh man.
it wasn't my personal favorite vehicle though. There were so
Hmm.
many. I think the hypercar segment was my favorite, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be a while before we can get our hands on that one.
Mm. I like Quadra a lot. Like all of the models, they have the Turbo, they have the Turbo R, and they have the Type 66. The Type 66 looks just absolutely stunning.
Mm.
Hmm.
Like damn that car. And there's also the Bugatti one. I forgot
Rayfield.
the name. Um, yes. Let me just try to remember just to read it, not remember it. Sorry.
Well,
I forget.
before you go on too much into that, I think that Johnny's car will be
Mm,
something that you'll actually have to actually go after, and it'll probably be like obviously a side mission that'll be probably fairly difficult and or tricky to get. What do you think?
mm,
Like it's like I don't think it'll be something that if you're playing like the main campaign and you're just kind of cruising through it, not really doing very many side quests. I don't think you'll naturally come across it. I think it'll be something that you'll probably have to earn Johnny's like approval, and then you'll
Yeah.
have to find something that kind of like leads on to the quest. Then once you have the quest, then you get it, you do it, and then you get it as a reward, and then then there's some extra like scenes and stuff with Johnny because of that.
Hmm. I
That's
want to
what
know
I'm thinking at least.
I want to know how his car is still around because it would be 100 years at that point, right?
Well, I
yeah.
suspect, I mean, if it was, say, in a garage, sealed up,
Yeah.
and I mean, cars are one of those things where if you leave them in a really dry garage that's like, maintains its temperature and humidity,
Mm.
and you just leave it there, I mean, so long as you didn't fill it with something bad for it, it's still going to run. Well, I mean,
It
you'd
has to
have to
be in the
change the
bad
battery,
ones.
but basically it's
Yeah.
good to go as soon as you get it running with maybe some wear and
Yeah.
tear here and there on it.
Yeah.
I guess it could have undergone some sort of restoration as well.
Yeah,
Mm.
or somebody just
I
keeps
mean,
it up.
yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, in these images, we see it like in a garage. Of course, this could be just a promotional like placement in like in certain location, but just from the lore standpoint, it had to be outside of Night City. There is no way the car would have survived the fort like that. So yeah, it has to be hidden probably a lot.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think in the trailer, Johnny says to be like, "We want to take it for a spin or something like that." I think for a
Yeah.
brief second.
There was
So
a
yeah.
there's a guy who bought a house or something like that, a house or a business building. Building was like 100 some odd years old, and he was doing renovations in the basement that had like an attachable like garage to it, like via ramp, and he tore down a wall and he found a giant crate, and in that crate was I want to say it was a Harley Davidson motorbike, but it might have been a car, but I'm pretty sure it was a motorbike, mint condition, like the packaging had never been opened on it, and he ended up, and it was like 80 some odd years old, and he sold it for a very 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 pretty penny.
Hmm.
Oh my god. Oh, that's just lucky, man. I don't know.
So
It will be yeah. Yeah, just judging from like the vehicles, like looking at hypercars and everything, is going to be interesting to see at like what level do we actually get a chance
Mm-hmm.
to like get them. But because Miles Tost actually said that we cannot actually store stolen vehicles, so I think you can just get refilled at start if you're lucky, but you cannot
Yeah.
own it. So that's like a minus thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe you need a certain hacking. Well, you obviously do need a certain
Yeah,
hacking
yeah.
or strength level to
Mm.
even steal the cars, but maybe for the Rayfields you'll need a super high technical skill to get into there.
Mm,
It would make sense, I guess. But
true.
yeah, not keeping the cars is, I mean, it makes sense as well because people can just whistle their cars back to them, right? Like Roach.
Yeah.
That's how you call your cars to yourself as well.
I can't wait for the bugs on that to come out. Like you whistle for the car, and you're like looking around. Where is the car? You look up, and it's like sideways on the side of a building above you. You're like, because Roche would always end up on. Sometimes he'd end up on a roof, just
Yeah.
standing there
Yeah.
for no reason. You're like, what the really?
I think someone even said like if the vehicle doesn't spawn on top of the building, I'm refunding the game for like.
I'm sure someone will make a mod just to reinstate some of the Witcher bugs.
In the comments here, G Apollo, I'm going to go out on a limb. I haven't seen it like confirmed 100%, but I'm going to go out on a limb and confirm for you that yes, you can repair your vehicles. I suspect that you're not going to be like you destroy a vehicle once and then it's toast. Like I'm pretty sure you should be able to like get it fixed up. So it'd be interesting too if different vehicles have different like fix up costs, and like maybe Johnny's car is the only car that can't be fixed because it's an antique. Like it's over 100 years old.
No way. No way.
So you're just driving around and you're like driving really slow. You're obeying all of the stuff, and you're like, can't break this car. Can't break this car. There's no repairs on this car.
Oh, that's why you drive stolen.
Yeah.
Cost free.
I'd imagine your repairing could be tied to your technical skill as well. So maybe
Yeah.
it'll be cheaper, or you can actually do it yourself.
I'm pretty sure Jackie will set us up with like some kind of like a garage that keeps our vehicles or whatever.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. Valentinos are known for that anyways, and he
Yeah.
is one, right? So
Yeah, I suspect that you'll be able to like have a huge car collection and have a giant like warehouse full of them. If they don't actually have that warehouse in the game with all of your cars just parked there, this is probably going to be one of the first things that the modders get at and create, right? So
Yeah.
that's my thoughts. Is like for sure they're going to get around to doing that.
I think it's gonna be like a menu or something.
Yeah, Crafty
Like, just
Key.
not-
Oh, sorry. Keep
Oh,
going.
nothing. I'm done.
So Crafty Keys, he's asked a very, very important question that I actually asked yesterday on the podcast, and there was a couple other people in the podcast that asked it yesterday too. So it was a conversation we had yesterday, and I want to reiterate it here because this is a really good one. Do you think we will be able to run around in our birthday suit, and if so, do you think NPCs will say anything about it? And I'm hoping so, because that's just hilarious.
well, there's people in the previews making like green pubes and like shaving Arasaka logo into them. So maybe, I don't know if people are gonna comment on that. That'd be pretty funny.
That would be pretty funny. I mean, I like it in Skyrim. I used this joke yesterday. I'm going to repeat it. In Skyrim, you can run around in like heavy, armor, or wearing a heavy, big two-hander, or then the NPCs will comment on your various state of dress and garb and weapons and stuff like that. If you're known as being sneaky, then they're going to call you little sneak thief. If you got a really high magic skill, they're going to comment on your magic skill and whatnot, and tell you to brew you up some mead for them and all that kind of stuff. I remember the most common thing that I hear from NPCs in the game is that one little kid that runs up to you in Skyrim, and he like comments on your state of clothing, and the thing that I hear all the time is naked. And then he runs off laughing. Yeah, that's the one I hear the most. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where that goes, Crafty Keys. I completely agree, and I hope that's a feature.
Oh my god, Sib, you're gonna be running butt naked
Oh.
the streets.
Is that the first thing you're gonna do when you load up the game?
Probably. You know, just check to see how much you can do. Like, you know, sometimes you like load into the game and you're like, all right, I'm off on an epic quest, and some people are like, I'm gonna see how much I can break the game, and you know, other characters like completely disrobe and then just take off running. It's like, you know,
To each their own.
to each their own. Do we know if Perfecto is asking? Do we know if multiple saves are a thing for different character slots? And I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a feature because it's a really common, very common system at this point in games. Yeah. If not, again, pretty sure that somebody will be able to like mod that in most likely.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the concept of the game is multiple playthroughs, so I don't know. It would be kind of.
I mean, they've put in all these different branching narrative options and all this crazy stuff. I can't imagine they would not have something so simple as multiple saves.
Yeah.
Even
though they haven't really confirmed it, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Benji is saying that yes, you can run around naked, but you will get arrested. I don't see why. Well, for this, I think, you know, I'm just going to carry a giant, like, tub of, like, lard or grease on me and then do the Eric Cartman.
Slip and slide away.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you watch it. One of the episodes from last year's South Park, whenever they try and give Eric Cartman shots, he just, like, he strips down and then he, like, greases himself up and he's like a greased pig running around. And, like, nobody can lay hands on him because he just keeps on slipping out of their grasp.
Oh, I see. I got you.
So, yeah, pull the Eric Cartman. You'll be fine.
You're expecting some very deep role-playing elements here, Cyb.
Oh, yes. Really super deep roleplay. Yeah, super deep roleplay.
Oh, my God. Imagine just showing up to Dex naked during that third
During any of the scenes, it would be hilarious, man.
You have the chip up your butt.
Yeah. It's right here.
JP, it's a joke. It's a joke. Good Lord, it's a joke. All right. Greased up deaf guy and Family Guy. I totally forgot about that one. See, I'm not that obsessed. I don't know all of the naked characters in all of the different TV shows. Do they have one in American Dad or in Rick and Morty? I don't know. I don't know if they have one there.
Isn't the alien technically naked?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. Roger is technically naked all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that counts. Definitely counts.
That's funny. So yeah, somebody's saying that there was somebody on YouTube who stated that they were playing the game and that the NCPD arrested them for being naked. So that's going to be interesting. I wonder if there's going to be a achievement for any of that sort of hilarity. So that'll be interesting.
That's the year breathtaking achievement. They've changed it.
Oh my God. Yeah, that would be hilarious. And then you start running like, if you can catch me.
Try and catch me. It's just, I could just imagine, because, like, you know, if you start like shooting people indiscriminately in the game, right? Your crime rating goes up and you get more and more like opposition to you, whether it's from the local gangs or the NCPD or the, you know, depending on what kind of reaction you get. I wonder if that's the case as well for like doing any other types of crime, like going on a non-violent crime spree, such as stealing things, just just stealing stuff, or running around in the buff. And how many, like, wouldn't that just be the funniest thing to hear on the nightly news? Yes, 47 officers, 13 aerial vehicles, 49 like ground vehicles. This criminal got to a 5-star rating, and what was their crime? How many people did they kill? Oh, they didn't kill anybody. They were just running around naked, but they were doing it in a public place. So we just ended up having to like surround him with his army of military police to just bring them down because, yeah, we can't have that. We can't have that. This is going to be so funny to see the various like shenanigans you can get up to.
I'm actually kind of surprised that they arrest you because you're naked.
Yeah.
you can beat the shit out of someone in front of them and they won't care,
Yeah,
right? It's
right.
Night City, but you can't show
But
your
you can't
your
go. Yeah, you can't go around in the buff. This is gonna. I swear, this is gonna be really funny. Like I can already see the videos. Um, all right. Anything else from Night City Wire?
I guess we had that CGI trailer to end off with, but yeah, other
Oh
than
yeah.
that, not really.
You know what was interesting though? The most interesting thing, heavy duty vehicles. I was like, what? Why would there be a showcase of heavy duty vehicles? And I think like, okay, then there has to be some function with them for missions. There has to be like, I don't know,
Well, I'm
like
just wondering why we don't have the ability to drive around like a Bobcat, like or or a full on like full size like industrial scale like excavator. That would be really fun to drive around in the city. It's
Well, we
like
don't know if we can't do that. I'm sure they didn't
yeah,
show
yeah.
everything when it comes to vehicles.
I
That
mean,
would
those were huge. Those heavy duty vehicles they were showing, like one of them was enormous.
Is anybody gonna role play as the garbage man? Just go
Yeah,
door to door and pick up the
yeah,
garbage.
yeah.
could you imagine? Could you imagine? So this is the excitement that I can see, like that I'm hoping. My fingers are crossed for like a future for the multiplayer game. That they kind of give us like kind of like the city as a whole to run around in, and you can just get up to whatever shenanigans you want to, because some of the role playing like Call of Duty and actually I don't think the Call of Duty, that's not where they do it. It's in Arma. Yeah, that's the one that they use it. So there's a whole bunch of role players that play Arma games where they have like whole rules and stuff. I'm like, and then I think there's some for Grand Theft Auto online as well. I think there's some like role play communities. It's like I want to see one of these worlds. Like, give us the ability to like custom set rules and stuff, and so that you have like you have people like just doing like regular things, like just being an actual garbage man, driving up and down when in a big truck, like throwing garbage in the thing, and you can actually like walk up to the player and be like, "Hey, what you doing?" And he's like, "Yeah, gotta make the money, gotta make the money," and he's totally in character the whole time, and you can't break him out of the character. Like that's honestly really really funny.
And that's why I want RP for Cyberpunk multiplayer. It would be great, honestly.
VR RP. It's
Yeah.
like VR chat like
Oh,
mixed with Cyberpunk. That would be so dope.
why go
Online.
out then?
Yeah, true.
Why go out?
True.
At this point, yeah, you'd be able to like do all kinds of stuff. Oh man.
What do you all think about like handling of vehicles? Like what we've had a chance to see, like turns and everything, how the vehicles drift, and I think like it's much better than I expected. Like
Hmm.
I
so
still saw
much
some moments where I felt like it would be super sensitive on mouse and key, but it has
better.
gotten better, I think.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
I just think mouse and key for driving is just not a good experience in general.
No, no, it's
Like
not. It's
controller's
terrible.
way better for that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Um,
Yeah, so yeah, honestly, like that's how I kind of see myself playing the game. It's like if when I'm driving, I'll just use a controller, and then when I'm out, I'll just drop the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, yeah. I think I might do the same actually.
well, I mean,
we'll see.
so far I really like the fact that the individual cars have different, like, actually have different drifts and strengths to them. Like
Mhm.
this has been really exciting to see that how much effort they put into actually making the car models. And this also answers the question why we don't have car customization within the game. Aside from maybe some paint jobs will be available at some point, at least early on. I suspect that if the car system really takes off as a super interest by the community, I suspect for sure that they'll add that as a feature on in one of the DLCs down the road, major expansions, DLCs, whatever you want to call them.
Hmm.
I think that that's highly likely as is because they've been getting so much interest. But we remember when we were talking about this before, and I said you have a couple of different systems that you can do a car mechanic within a game. You can either have it like completely interchangeable, so it's basically like a Lego set. You can drop engines in and out, change wheels, lift it, lower it, all that kind of stuff. That wouldn't work with the immense amount of tech we've seen go into the cars, because of just the like a normal car in a normal video game is going to have one, maybe two, maybe three different points of audio in the car. Like points of audio being like different places within the vehicle that you are hearing sounds coming from. The old video games, you had one, and it was just the sound of the car, and you were in the car, you could hear that sound. But they've recorded, in some cases, they've recorded up to like 8 different microphone placements within the vehicle. Mm-hmm. So that is going to be coming through. So you're going to hear the engine, you're going to hear the doors, you're going to hear the window, the windows going up and down. You're going to hear all of that stuff within the car. Exactly how it works out, we don't quite know yet, but this is why I don't think there's a customization option right from the get-go, because of all of this stuff. You can't just it's a little bit more complicated to do that. But what I think this does prove is that something that we're going to be able to look forward to quite significantly is the amount of mods that are going to come out with new cars. And there's going to be a whole modding culture around this game that is just going to revolve around your cars, or the cars that these modders can make. Taking the in-game assets, bringing in new, tweaking stuff, altering things here and there, then coming out with a new car, and then you can get that new car somewhere within the game via, whatever. And I think this is going to be a really big thing that we're going to see. In Skyrim, there's a whole micro modding community within the community that does nothing but make houses. Does absolutely nothing but make beautiful, beautiful, beautiful houses. And I think we're going to see that here with cars as well as like apartments, right? I think the apartments are obviously going to be pretty standardized as far as like, very popular things for people to mod in. But cars really, really are going to be a big point of modder creation right now. So if you're upset that we don't have car modding in yet, like being able to mod your car within the game, I wouldn't worry about it too much, because I think CDPR is definitely going to bring some version of that out, sometime in the future. But we're also going to see the modders really step up and make a ton of stuff with this. So this is really, really super exciting to see where that goes from here. So yeah.
I mean, they're gonna have expansions and DLC, so they need opportunities to bring other stuff that maybe fans want in the base game after they get finished.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be the first time they implement new systems, because in Blood and Wine they implemented new systems for enhancements, I believe, runes. Yeah. So they like to implement new systems. So it doesn't mean like that some things that they didn't maybe have time to finish here in the base game that they won't actually finish later, or maybe do, like explore or whatever.
Yeah.
Does it?
Juan is asking if we can send a message to CDPR, which, I mean, trust me, we don't have that much of a pull, but we can try. That they want to see what life is like inside the mega buildings. So yeah, you're really kind of asking, you kind of want a peek into like the life inside the mega buildings, all Judge Dredd kind of like thing. And I think that's really cool, but I think I don't think that they're gonna focus on that. I think they're probably gonna focus on the music for the next one, but we'll see. We don't know. It hasn't been confirmed yet. We just know that they're gonna be bringing out some music related stuff in and around when their next Night City Wire is going to be around. Although that Night City Wire might actually also, because of just the information we've been getting from sources here and there and things that have been reported on websites and to other reporters, one of the things that we are expecting is for them to drop the information about what expansions or DLCs they're coming out with before the actual game drops. Remember that there was a news report a little while ago where they said that there was a source, which again, take that with a grain of salt, said that they are going to be showcasing what their next expansions are before the game goes live. So that might be the next thing, where they're showing off things and events and stuff that they're going to be showcasing. So that's going to be interesting. where that goes.
And they did
Yeah,
also want to show radio stations as well as console footage before the game drops as well. So maybe
Yeah.
that can get pulled in somehow.
Yeah, so I think the next Night City Wire is going to be pretty stacked. But this is something that we do want to cover is like, so much of the lore, right? There's so much of the interesting lore within the game, and like once the game comes out, we're going to have so much. And one of those things is going to be like, what is it like for average NPCs to like live in the world and to do stuff? And I personally want to follow around some of my favorite NPCs and see what they do all day, because remember that they're supposed to have their own like schedule of things that they do, and that they don't always answer your phone calls when you're calling them in the game because they're doing other stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to follow these NPCs. I'm going to pick an NPC and I'm going to follow that NPC around all day long and see what they do. Because that'll be interesting. And it's not creepy at all, Game Notes, right? It's not creepy and stalkerish at all. It's for science, guys.
Then, so you'll have Jackie like, hey man, why you stalking me? Like everywhere I go, you're with me. I go with Misty, you're behind me.
I just want to see what you're doing, man. I just want to see what you're doing. Yeah.
You sound like a pickpocket too.
No,
I'm just gonna go around trying to steal people's money.
I actually I hate that. That's I usually roll a thief. So I was playing Baldur's Gate. I rolled a thief and I'm like sneaking up and I'm like trying to talk to this person and it keeps on opening the loot thing and I'm like, no, I don't want to steal from them. I just want to talk to them. And it's like, well, why are you a rogue? Because I want to be sneaky. I don't want to steal some guy's
What
I
life
want to
are
steal
you doing
somebody's
again?
like stuff. Like I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely going stealth build on the first playthrough. Well, partially because like I can't take the super fast combat. I'm gonna have to go really slow, not hurl every like 5 minutes while playing the game. So it's gonna be fun.
Stealth maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just,
Jonathan's asking, any word that CDPR might hold off on a U.S. release if there's post-election violence? Some of the backstory about the collapse of the old USA might be hitting kind of close to home at that moment. Jonathan, this is, I mean, anytime you have violence in an area, anytime you have roadways being shut down, like obviously that's a concern. I don't think that they're going to do that. I think basically who it was it was one of the main voice actors for the game said that only only a massive like natural disaster or something like that could prevent this game being released on the 19th now. So
I mean,
yeah.
Don't test 2020.
Yeah,
it's
but
possible.
Don't test 2020.
I don't know, man. Month is 30 days is a long time. In 2020, a lot of things can happen.
T1 slams poking me saying that I'm going to release a video expose a beginning of a monster. No, we're not monsters. We like I actually like genuinely like okay, so that I'm in the Shadowlands beta, right? Been for a while, and doing Torghast runs. You can run up, and this is basically it's like hell, and you get these options when you're dealing with these lost souls in the thing, and it's like sometimes you can always save them, or sometimes you can turn them into a weapon and forge them into something that helps you more, and it's like, oh, that's so terrible. I can't even bring myself to test the feature of like not rescuing them. It's like I have such a love for generalized NPCs in video games that I genuinely have difficulty in like just testing a feature on a non-permanent account. This is just a test account. It gets wiped like every 2 weeks now. And it's like I can't bring myself to hit the button and goes, yes, I'm going to doom you to a life of slavery, and turn your soul into a weapon. It's like I can't do that. Doesn't
Wait,
work.
they dropped something?
No, well, it's just a buff, apparently. It's just a temporary buff. And it's like, why would I doom a soul in a video game to eternal torment when I could release them? Like, I could just release them. Or I could turn them into a buff and give myself a buff for a few minutes. It's like, why would I do that? Of course I'm going to release them anyways. Ah, man, I played so game notes. I played. You were there for the first time. I played Among Us, and it's like first round, I killed like half. Like I killed so many people. It was crazy. I went around. I was like, oh, this is the button to kill. Oh, I just killed my friend. Okay, well, I'm gonna run over here and kill that person, kill that person, kill that person, and it was down to like out of a team of like 8 of us, it was 3 of us left, and that went poorly for them too. Then my next time I was the infiltrator. I didn't kill anybody. I was just trying to be nice and help people because I felt so guilty about my first round. Ugh.
You're such a nice man.
Yes, no one suspects the Canadian. No one ever suspects the Canadian. We're always so nice, aren't we? Aren't we?
That makes you the
Leon?
perfect assassin.
Yeah, yeah,
No
it
one
does. I'm not an
Oh, so-
assassin. I am a gardener. I remove weeds for $75,000 a pop. No politicians, no public figures. So yeah.
That's you.
Anyways, let's talk. Anything else you guys want to mention about Night City Wire or anything like that? Because we'll turn to the Madqueen's interview with Mike Pondsmith yesterday. Day before yesterday.
I think we stressed everything from that.
All right, so I'm going to cover a couple of the quick thoughts. And again, she had a great interview with Mike Pondsmith. It's always kind of funny. Somebody was like, it's like they don't have the ear of Mike Pondsmith. It's like despite the fact that we've actual run like campaigns for their company. It's like, all right, so that was funny. Would have liked to see the faces on some of the haters there. That was hilarious. Really great interview. Check it out. The first point that I found was really interesting is how Mike Pondsmith talked about the cultural identity and how he had been writing these things in his content and how they were originally based on stuff that was happening around him in the 70s and 80s, and how there was a lot of distorted views of cultures. He talked about how when he was talking with Japanese people, when he was doing his research and or just talking with them, or when he would travel, they thought that pretty much all Americans were cowboys, and then how other cultural phenomena was like voodoo was really big in the 70s and 80s, and there were lots of people who adopted it, who had, I mean, they had never even met somebody from that actual part of the world where that was actually being practiced, like, consistently. And so this is how you get the voodoo boys in his original writings in the 2020 series, and then how it's been morphed in the Cyberpunk Red, and then how it's kind of come to its completion in the 2077 storyline. So that's really interesting. If you guys want to hear an interesting take on like subculture and how that kind of affects things and how that affected his writing, and how he went out of his way to like make sure that he could tweak that appropriately for the game. That was really, really cool to hear him like go into that, because it's really kind of interesting how the cultural problems that we have today are not the problems that we're going to have tomorrow, and we're not the problems of like 10 years ago. So it's really,
You guys have to remember, like, he didn't have internet. Like, this is pre-internet era where your research actually has to come from books and stuff like that. Right? You can't just hop on Google and then drop a search query.
Yeah, like it's
true.
It's so interesting that and it shows how much he like was engrossed in the world of it too. So very interesting
Honestly,
topic.
I kind of noticed that the way he writes when we talked to Jay, and he said like he likes to go inside the room, alone and be in that. So I guess he surrounds himself with maybe objects or something which kind of give that cyberpunkish vibe to just kind of fully immerse himself, because there is no way to write this without fully immersing yourself, not the world of this size. Like I mean, obviously he's not alone, but just the vision and everything behind it, there has to be this idea, there has to be this research. So it's the passion is just wow.
He needs his My Little Pony. Isn't he a fan of My Little Pony? So he has a statue in his office.
That's cool.
There is some brilliant writing behind that. I'm not a brony, but there are some things that my nieces and nephews show me from time to time about the show. It's so funny. It's so well
Mm.
written. It's like who's it, like the shy one gets like cursed, or she picks up some curse, and it forces her voice to talk like she normally has this very, very light, delicate, light, fluttery voice, and her new voice is like this ultra low, deep baritone male voice. It's like brilliant writing, guys. Congratulations. I think that show deserves an Emmy, for crying out loud, or whatever awards, the Oscar, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. I also liked his perspective on Johnny.
Hmm.
That was also good.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Just to say to people who haven't watched, so there was a whole discussion around why Johnny did what he did and why people consider Johnny to be an asshole because he is technically that. Um, but the way Mike says it, like he before that he was trained as a soldier, so he did what he was trained for because he exhausted every other ways. So it's like, yeah, just putting into his perspective the things he had to do before that, the ways he tried to, like,
Mhm.
I don't know, change the world through being a rocker boy and everything, and then exhausting all of those resources where corpos are still having power. And the only way for corpos to respond is with force because they use force. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
good.
Was a sensitive character, right? He's just been wounded so much that he's had to have this almost facade to
mhm.
protect himself, this defense mechanism, right?
Yeah.
Because Mike did say he was a sensitive character.
He also
Mm.
talked about how technically, yes, he invented the cell phone in his lore. He invented the cell phone, and it's like the smartphone cell phone, not like the cell phone, but like a smartphone cell phone. He basically invented that.
Yeah.
And his
He didn't
his
like the
son was
flip
like,
phone.
"Hey man, you invented this. Why aren't you rich?" And he's like, or he said that, I couldn't remember which, but yeah. He
Yeah,
also
yeah, he
he
did.
also predicted like the problems. He predicted a lot of stuff, and that like a good
Mm.
sci-fi writer does that. A really good sci-fi writer takes what they can see are issues and problems, and then devising ways to like fix it. And you got to remember, we have a number of like technological discoveries merely based on the fact that somebody in the universe, reading that content within the sci-fi universe, went out to go create something that was like that and got a different product. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think the one that we're seeing the most today is somebody's made an you know probably the closest thing to a lightsaber that we're gonna get for the time being. Um, was this week. It's been popping off in YouTube like
Oh yeah.
constantly. Yeah, I've been watching it like crazy, and it's like, yeah, thing burns at like 4,000 degrees.
Wait, what? I haven't seen
Yeah,
this.
it doesn't have mass, which is the one thing that you do need for an actual like lightsaber, but it
Yeah.
will cut through a steel door in a few seconds. So yeah,
Yep.
Dude, that is sick. I need to watch
yeah,
this.
Yeah.
it's,
It's really
it's
amazing.
it really is. It's really, really cool.
But I mean, it's just a matter of time
Mhm,
until people like right now when you look at this guy, for example, and he made this thing that looks like a lightsaber, and it's like it's getting closer. So it's
mhm,
like, okay, his idea is gonna be there, then someone's gonna take an idea and say, oh, what if I do this with newer technologies, and then at the end of the day, you're gonna have Elon say, oh yeah, now I can make a lightsaber, let's do it. So
mhm,
it's just, I guess, it passed on generations by generations because look at plane. I believe Leonardo da Vinci actually like researched like the first not aircraft but the way people could fly.
mhm.
So just from there, I guess, even here, like, yeah, augmentations, absolutely, we already have them. It's just a couple of years until we get the hang of them, and then people are gonna be, I swear, they're gonna be cutting off their limbs to get that.
Well, it's
You
like
know,
it's yeah, and technology moves so fast. That's the other thing. It's like 100 years ago, aircraft were, I mean, just barely off the ground as far as a concept, and now
mm,
it's like we're going to space. It's like, wow, what a difference. Speaking of technological advancement, he also talked a fair bit about AIs, and it was really interesting to hear his thought on it. And um, I do a lot of like AI talk. I mean, I'm half robot, so that it's kind of a must. But the the his looking out at AIs was very interesting. So he mentioned about how there's a lot of AIs that are not violent and they don't hate humans because if they're natural born like AI, progressively becoming more and more like inching closer and closer to sentience, and they finally reach it and they become a thing. They don't have certain hiccups that humans have, right? They don't have some of the things that make humans hostile or hateful. A lot of those things are completely foreign to them, and so it's not in there really. Like it's not even a subset of their emotional categories. Whereas he talks about how the most dangerous AIs that you encounter are hostile AIs that were once human, because they have that anger, that hatred, that those emotions running through them, that they want to go and they want to do something, they want to fix something, they want to attack something, they want to get even, right? And it's like these are the AIs that you have to be scared of, because those are the ones that they know how to hurt you and they want to hurt you, versus other AIs that they don't naturally desire wanting to hurt you. They're just sometimes you're just either completely off the radar or you're of no real interest to them. So that was really, really interesting, him talking about that.
Didn't he also he talked a lot about Roche and
Yeah.
Morgan Blackman and
Yeah.
his character. Sorry, just going on a
Hmm.
completely different tangent. And he kind of like low-key confirmed that Roche and Morgan are still around somewhere. I mean, we know
Hmm.
that kind of from Red. Not so much Roche, but or Raish, sorry, but Morgan, and he's not playing Morgan. But
Well,
originally his
he said
character
he.
was smaller, and then they
Mhm.
expanded to a different character because they wanted more lines for him.
Hmm.
So,
So one of the things that I found was interesting is that he actually agreed with Madqueen. So Madqueen has this theory that she thinks that Raish is still alive, essentially, and he's now hundreds of different AIs within the system. Um,
mhm.
and and
Yeah, 'cause she likes to call him the
Pondsmith,
god,
yeah,
right? The
yeah,
omnipresent AI god.
yeah, and for the most part, Mike seemed to indicate that there was some truth to that argument. So he didn't come out right out and say it, but he definitely, they had a bit of a back and forth on it. So check it out if you're really interested in some of that lore bit. But it's very interesting to see kind of his take on that, because it's one of the key things to like the deeper lore of the universe, right? Because again, if you've been playing Cyberpunk since it originally came out in its pen and paper forms, you know these characters. You you had characters that were part of that lore, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you had the ability to be in on some of those quests that revolved around that story, with him, with his physical form being killed off in in a hit in a job. So it's like that's important to you, and I really hope that they continue to kind of respect that. But the other thing that we discovered is that that so there's two more things. So Alt Cunningham is indeed one of the smartest and strongest characters in the entire lore, and she is both smarter and stronger than pretty much everybody else, including Johnny. And if Johnny had not gone after her when she got kidnapped, they would have been a few billion credits richer, and she would have escaped, in a very short while. But it was him coming to her that kind of screwed everything up. And Mike talked about this quite in depth, where it's like she's looking at him going, Johnny, I love you, but
You're an idiot.
you're an idiot. You're screwing this all up. Why are you screwing this all up? And it's like, yeah, it's typical guy, right? I hate to say it, but yeah, typical male response. Yeah. So it was really interesting to see that. And then the other thing that he mentioned, which was also very, very interesting, is that the Arasaka family basically he said is like any other family that have you ever gone to a Thanksgiving dinner with your family or like a holiday thingy or whatever, and there's yelling and people are screaming, and at some point somebody storms out of the house angry, and then there's another one of the family members just sitting there going, guys, can't we just get along, we just want to be a family. It's like that's the Arasaka family, is that you have this wide range of characters that there's there's members of that family who would gut you in the street if it increased their goals by a fraction of a percent, and they wouldn't even think about it. Then there's this other girl in the family who's like, she's gonna go out of her way to like help an old lady cross the street because she just wants people to get along. And it's like, oh, that's a really interesting family dynamic. Like, that is very, very... I mean, that's pretty normal.
They all have private armies.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that too,
Wait, you don't have that?
What? No, I have Oompa Loompas. Do they count?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course.
I need someone to edit the videos, man.
Shit, I need some of those.
Alrighty. So some wonderful, lively chat in the. I'm not going to go into. There's some really interesting, lively chat in the chat. Keep it going, guys, but keep it generally respectful if you can. It's all fun to like talk about games and stuff, but yeah. What else do we have here?
Game Notes said Ripper Jack is his guy. I found that interesting. That was one of the parts that I missed because I had to leave at that moment.
Yeah. So Ripper Jack is essentially the new character for Mike. Mike had a character, but they were going to take him in a bit of a different direction. So they said, so they got a new voice actor for him. But he has another character that they're introducing. This is really super cool because, this is the character that Mike, he's more connected to this character than he is to some of the other characters that you might think are a little bit more badass. Now, it turns out that Mike is an evil person when it comes to killing off your characters in the rules and in the stories and in the events. But if you were to put him into the universe, he just wants to be like a guy who helps people and fixes people up and just does that kind of stuff. Like that's an interesting concept, and that's pretty darn cool.
Plus, he has a voice. Like, Jesus, that voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can listen, and just like the voice is good, and on top of that, like the everything he speaks makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's been so long into this, just like forget about like just a cyberpunk perspective. Like everything that he basically had to learn, from politics to all the social elements of humans, of countries, of my God. Because creating an entire world, and a world that also makes sense. That's the most important thing, because it makes sense. And now that we see it's becoming more and more reality, it's like, oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good assessment, because that was basically it, like looking at the things, as you said, looking at the things around you and everything which was going on at that time when technology was kind of becoming more, popular. And also because this is happening again, with new tech coming in, with those chips in the head and everything, like there is going to be this fear towards technology, and of course, that's going to spark a lot of these stories, and that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that's explored a lot, even in like Deus Ex, is like the bridge or the gap between the people who adopt these technologies and those who like don't want anything to do with it, because whether it's there's so many different reasons, religion, just overall beliefs, being scared of it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that's why the original Ghost in the Shell is better than the movie one, because in the original one they were talking about all of these things about tech and where it could lead and the fear that people could have. So yeah,
Yeah. It's those contemplative questions that I hope are present in 2077.
True.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you have anything else besides this though?
What do you
There
guys
was.
think about sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm.
I
Please
was gonna
finish.
say the music. The music at Night City Wire. Um, how do we feel about some of the tracks that they've shown off so far? Just the music in general.
I like the one that's in the current commercial, the current main commercial that's running. That one I want to hear the whole one on that one, but I don't think it's out yet. I might be
Is that
thinking of.
isn't that Billie Eilish? Are you talking about those commercials?
No, I think it's the other one. I don't. That's the one thing I didn't prep was the music names, and like I still don't know which ones are which by naming them out. But yeah,
Mm.
it's the music is going to be the big, is one of the big draws to this universe, and I mean they've gone so far in trying to make it so good, so it's going to be one of those things that like I really really want to see where that goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
True. Yeah, the music is nice. I like that there is. It's not like it's not synthwave. It has every like element from rap to metal to rock to like club music.
Mm-hmm.
So just the variety of the music, in my opinion, is good.
It's kind of spans the cultural diversity of the population itself,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a big leap up from The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. The Witcher was mostly that because it's Slavic, and then they also implement Parsifal and those kind of genres. But yeah, here there is much more, and I honestly like I was like just that song that they released the latest one uh, from the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the name right now, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know how crazy it is. So it's just the style of the music is good because they don't shy away from explicitity and all of that, which is normal for 2077, and they kind of captured that with the lyrics as well. So it's not only like the music, but also the lyrics in some songs, like that song that everybody wants from the postcards from Night City. That was just specifically for Night City. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
that's like just a passion there. Props.
Shingara is asking, is the music created for the game? Asking because how will this stand with copyright strikes? They own all the rights to their music, so.
Hmm.
Almost all of it. There's some agreement. Some of it is still based off of agreements that's going to be the big stars like yeah,
Like ASAP Rocky and those guys.
yeah, and I mean we're still having issues with that one from
Yeah, but that was a pre-existing
Yeah.
yeah,
that wasn't created specifically for the game. It was just
yeah.
taken from
What
her previous track
what
list.
what I think that's gonna be with ASAP Rocky and all of the big names is that it's not going to be a problem for us and people streaming and whatever.
Mhm.
It mostly means like what I can determine is that yes, they can have the tracks inside of game because they were ordered. I mean ordered um, from them. But they also can play those songs in their own concert. So basically that like shared
Mm-hmm.
um, ownership, I guess.
Yeah, well, that makes everybody happy, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. This is just speculation, but I think that could be the case because it's the most logical. Because then
Mm-hmm.
they benefit because people are going to be coming to the shows. They might expect that one song from the game, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that the music industry is finally starting to clue into, is that you want your music to be out there as much as possible. If your
Hmm.
music is the go-to, is on pretty much everybody's list for listening to while they play whatever game. If it's one of those big like cultural icon games, like that is going to set you above and beyond, and is going to be the new normal. It used to be you always wanted your song on the radio station. Well, now if you're exclusively going after that crowd, you're not going to have very much success. I mean, there's still a lot of power behind having your song being played on every radio station in North America or in Europe, but again, this is becoming less and less of a thing, and more artists now want to have the top spot on Spotify than they do to have the top spot on radio network. It's like, and even though it's like some of them make you, still make you a little less money here or there, it's still making you a lot more money, overall. And it's like, yeah.
No, actually, now they make more money with the streaming services and everything. The amount of people just listening to their songs on various platforms, it's huge amounts of royalties. So, and that's what I mean. This is the general music industry, which they don't understand. It's like I for example, I'm watching a streamer, I hear a song, I'm like, oh, that's a really good song. So I'm going to go to Spotify, which I am paying. So you already, just from my one click, you already got the royalty. And maybe I play the song for 20 times. So just from that one streamer, like listening to that song, you got like, let's say 10, 15 listeners, just from me. So I don't know. I hope the laws change, because it's just a matter of time until the internet and general, like not internet, but creators and the laws don't crash more, because they started crashing right now on Twitch, on YouTube. It's just a matter of time until either creators find, and well, they are finding new ways to find the music, which is great and is actually cheaper through various websites. And I believe when that happens, like the music industry is going to lose a lot of that influence that they had before, unless they change, I guess.
So just a reminder to a couple of people, Madqueen is currently out. She's doing a project right now, and she wasn't able to get away. So don't. She's feeling good. She's feeling a little bit better. But yeah, she's not here, not because she was not feeling well enough, but because she's in the middle of a project thingy, and it just went on a little bit longer than she wanted to. So work is work. It's like, work is so much fun. But yeah, no.
Yeah, she's giving away an Xbox console next week, right?
Yes.
Next week.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing. I think all of us are gonna start doing a little bit more giveaways and stuff as we get the ability to, and we certainly appreciate your guys' support for the channel and for the especially for the community podcast. We really appreciate you guys showing up all the time.
Yeah. Especially when the game comes out, like there's gonna be so many things to talk about, like just from the game. Like,
I mean, think we've hit 81 episodes, and the game is not even out yet. Pretty crazy.
And just so y'all know, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be around for a long time to come. So don't you worry one bit. We are in for the long haul. So always, again, subscribe to all of us. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We honestly really do appreciate that, especially with everything going on right now. It's really stressful time to be a content creator. So naturally, we always appreciate it when you guys like and sub and stuff like that. It really does help, and we really do appreciate you guys and join our communities. We have a huge community on Discord for all kinds of things on all of our Discords. They're very lively. We almost have somebody streaming in Discord pretty much all the time now. So whether it's us or whether it's one of our fans or one of our members, like there's always somebody doing something. So feel free to swing by and check it out. Right. Is there any other news?
There was that. Let me just find it. The two voice actors from Brian Deckard and Amelia Rose Blair, I believe they were on Detroit Become Human. They actually revealed their characters in Cyberpunk. They're going to be in Cyberpunk as well. Yes. The post is on Brian Deckard, or you can just go to Philip Weber. I don't want to use the keyboard now, but yeah, on his Twitter.
And I think his character is a vending machine, right?
Yes, yes, love it. I was asking like because they said like cars is gonna have AIs and of course those things like I want them to play around with AIs,
Mhm.
like just AI which is like crazy or something.
Yeah,
So to have a vending machine as a character, I like that.
yeah, yeah. Gonna explore some cool topics. They have so many different trajectories and angles they can take.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good to see all the diversity in the quests, and there's gonna be some funny ones for sure.
Mhm.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, you always have those quests which are just made during like breaks, they're having coffee or something, they're eating, and it's like, hey, maybe we can implement this, maybe we can maybe write a funny story now and then. So yeah, I'm excited for those actually.
I haven't seen the Jolly thing yet. Have you guys seen the Jolly thing, the new character thing?
That's the lip syncing thing, right? I briefly saw that.
Mm, yeah.
It's like their new lip syncing. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's AI technology or what it is, but it pretty much removes the need for the developer to go in and manually
Yeah,
do. So it saves a lot
Yeah.
of time, and I think it's more accurate as far as I
there
know.
there's a lot of there are a lot of programs. I had oh darn, this is my new computer. My old computer I had a program that did that lip syncing to a lot of different audio systems. It's one of Bethesda's tools, and I mean that one works pretty darn good for a program that's been around for like what. I think it's been around like it's been around without any like massive overhaul updates for like 12, 14 years now. So it's like, wow, that is a very old system. So I'm really excited to see some of the newer systems that they make for this stuff because lip syncing is one of those things where it's just really good if they do it right, from the beginning. And we're starting to see more and more games feature it. I mean, even Genshin Impact has a pretty decent lip syncing system.
Mm.
It's not perfect, and I mean they're kind of like they're very anime stylized characters, but it's like having that in the future to be just really really perfect is something that brings all games upwards that can have access to it. So yeah, I know about that one, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, true. Like I believe the owner of that company said like if people see bad lip syncing, they'll mind it, but the good lip syncing won't be noticed. So generally, like developers just want to get that out of the way so they can focus on, I guess, more interesting stuff.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
I presume that can be tedious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and I mean this is the new wave of like game tools that are coming, that are going
Yeah.
to be around. And I've talked about this quite a bit. How we're looking at some of the advances in game development tech that to make a normal game, to make a game that 10 years ago would have taken like 4 or 5 years to make, with 100 plus people. You can now make some of those games that in that same amount of content. You can now crunch those things out in depending on the company that you're working in, but there's tools around that you can do that in 1/5 the time that you were before. And you're getting closer and closer and closer to AI being able to do so much more for you, where you're basically like, hey, you're working in tandem with an AI, saying, "Hey, I want to do, I want this story to look like this. I want this to look like that. I want, give me give me a town here, fill it with 400 NPCs and 15 flavor quests, and it's just like the AI just does it like automatically, and then you go through and you basically just comb out any of the loose ends. Um, so the tech that we're starting to see on this is really starting to like ramp up, and I'm really happy to see. It's one of the best things to see is that when you look at CDPR and you can see them still being ahead of that curve, right? Still going out to actually create that content, to go out and do that stuff, and make it actually as best as they can now, because that's going to really change the way that gaming is done in the future. So it's going to be
Yeah.
really really interesting.
Yeah. I guess it's gonna be like the same with maybe, I don't know, when you're producing music, producing films like before, of course, if you didn't have a really expensive camera, if you didn't have rolls and rolls and rolls of film and people, you couldn't really record anything. Now it's like your phone can make a film. So I think, as you said, like tech is equally important because tech like gives you the space to make a game in. So the better it is, the easier it is for devs, and end of the day, you get a more stunningly, let's say, maybe in graphic terms, maybe in lip syncing, maybe in gameplay terms, a more stunning game, just because of that. So yeah, and also less people.
Yeah, and there's so much tech on the horizon, man. I got to look at something the other day that again I can't talk about, but it's like this is going to revolutionize like physics the way that ray tracing has affected like lighting in games, and it's like it's getting there. It's really getting there, and we're going to start seeing more and more and more of this stuff. So yeah, it's I'm super excited. This is the new future that we're gonna have, and we're gonna see so much cool stuff. You know.
Yeah, can you imagine what games are gonna look like in like even 5 years, 10 years, let alone 20?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at 2010 when the game came out. Like, wow.
Yeah, I feel like brain dance is gonna be real.
Getting close. I mean, with that whole neural uplink thing that they're working on, we just might see that. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and also those things that it's like full VR that you can play FPS in, like you can even walk. That's becoming more and more popular when it comes to personal use. I believe Shroud is buying that. So it's like, it's there.
Yeah, you have the treadmill and like the whole haptic suit and all that, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I mean, it's still damn expensive, but you can buy it if you got money.
Yeah, well, technology goes so quickly, and it also drops in price like very rapidly.
Oh,
So
yeah.
once the early adopters are out of the way, then they start to make things more mainstream.
Yeah. I honestly want those Google glasses to come back, but this time just to look normal. Because I like that idea. I like the idea of having the UI in
augmented
front.
reality. I do not know why. Like it really confused me. It really honestly confused me as to why that didn't take off more. And I don't think it was because they weren't having success with it. They were starting to get relatively big success with it, but for whatever reason they were just like, yeah, well, let's stop it here. Remember the augmented reality thing that Microsoft had been working on, and again that just disappeared out of nowhere. It's like they were having tech with that would just completely revolutionize the way that you play games and do content and interact with, I mean, anything. It's like,
I figure that's something more that comes in handy with like military, right?
Yeah.
And then I think
some of the
manufacturers are starting to implement
military
those
tech
things into their windshields.
Yeah. So some of the military tech that they've been working on with augmented reality is insane. It highlights all your friendlies and their conditions, and then it also can highlight like priority targets and stuff like that.
It's essentially a Karoshi eyeball.
Yeah. It's really getting quite close. It's like, oh wow, that is insane. And then of course you're gonna have to deal with the hacking that's involved in this stuff too. It's like so wow.
I don't know. I'm not as much as I'm looking forward to it. I'm not, because people don't even like secure their PCs. Like, imagine how little they will secure their augmentations. You're gonna have people getting hacked left and right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like, do you guys keep a lock on your smartphone? Like some people don't, right? Are you gonna keep a lock on your Karoshi eyeballs? Right? Are you gonna be password protected or not? Or is your password gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4? Like,
someone gets in front of you. Close your eyes. No look. Yeah, but that's the dangers. That's you. Of course, that's all the double-edged sword. In one hand, it gives you, like, obviously a lot of positive things, because I see why Kiroshi would be useful. I would love to have it, Like
Yeah.
imagine just you don't have to look at your phone; you can see things in front of you, but it can also potentially be hacked.
Yeah. That's what happens when you play God.
Yeah. Yeah. So
When
I
I
don't
play God, it's called Black and White, and I throw villagers up mountainsides. If anybody got that reference, please let me know, because yeah. So that was such a good game.
Chat's just silent.
It's super silent. Alrighty. So if that's it and we got no more questions, I think we can probably wrap up today. For those of you who remember, we have the return of Cyberpuppy. We're going to be debuting that hopefully this week. I was going to do it today, but they're not. We're still having some minor issues. It's still a little touch and go with one of them. I can't wait to show you guys pictures, man. The one of the pups is 4 times bigger than the other one. It is insane. It is insane the difference between the two sizes of the two dogs. So yeah. So last year we did have a cyber puppy dog thing, and unfortunately she passed away, and it was really terrible. But this year everything's going much better. So we're gonna introduce them. Like once they're through the woods, we're gonna start introducing them. Then so it's gonna be really interesting. So yeah, yeah. So we're gonna check that out. And then yeah, no, I think we're all right. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Can you drive cars in Cyberpunk 2077? Yes, you can drive cars in Cyberpunk 2077.
No, you cannot.
You must walk.
You have to walk everywhere. I can't wait for the motorbikes. I really am. That's the one thing that I'm really excited for. Is I think I'm probably going to be motorbike as exclusive as I can be. Probably would be motorbikes. So, can you shoot guns in 2077? Well, I've heard about this, but I don't see why you'd want to. I mean,
I think you can
a
only
good
hug.
conversation. Yeah, a good hug and a good conversation can sort out most problems. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that thing where we take 2 opposing gangs. We're gonna take the 2 gangs that like hate each other the most, and we're gonna put them into a gym for a weekend, and we're gonna have a bunch of pizza, and we're just gonna have everybody just talk out their problems with each other, and then and I'm pretty sure that won't end in a horrifying bloodbath, because yeah. Yeah, totally
You won't
works.
find the building in 7 days. Yeah, honestly, just someone asked, like, can you shoot from bike? That's actually, like, did we ever see it?
I don't think we saw it, but I couldn't imagine why not.
Because you can shoot from the car.
I imagine you'd be able to.
Yeah.
It's like such a natural evolution of just in The Witcher, when you can drive by somebody on the horseback and slice their head off. Can you do that with the mantis blades? That would be so cool.
Oh my god, yeah. True. I mean, it makes sense, because if there is going to be some random encounters and you're on a motorbike and they attack you and you cannot shoot, like the van or something. So I think yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of having a weapon mounted on the top of a vehicle, like a turret. That honestly sounds like a really good idea. Yeah, I think that would be just fine. Totally would work.
I'm sure they'll have that.
Yep.
The security for that should be pretty tops. All right, thanks everybody for joining us today. Please tune in next week. Who are we on next week?
Me.
Yeah, should be Last Known.
Yep.
We swapped places with Madqueen, so we will be back in 3 weeks from now, and I suspect so. Next week it'll be Last Known. Week after that it'll be Neon, and then it should be us again. So and then followed by Madqueen. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks everybody for coming by. Thank you again for hitting the like button and hitting subscribe. We really, really, really do appreciate it. We are all of us are experiencing great growth, and that is down to you guys as a community. Thank you guys so much, and for helping us so much to maintain that and help us grow. We can't wait to start streaming the game and showing off what we can and doing videos and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be very interesting. We don't know quite how the rules are going to go with some of the streaming situations, so stay tuned. If we can't do it on YouTube and we can't do it on Twitch because of the content, well, I hope y'all have your what was it? A prawn. It's not a hub. It's something else. Prawn Central. I think that's what it is. Prawn Central. We may have to make accounts over there. I mean, that's my backup plan if things fall through here. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Well, it's not Johnny Silverhand anymore. Now it's Johnny Sins.
Yeah. Yeah. Or DLive. Maybe DLive. Maybe what's the Microsoft one?
Just Mixer.
Yeah, Mixer. Yeah. We'll be on Mixer. Don't you worry, guys. Don't you worry. We'll be on Mixer right away. I have seen game streams on that place there, Motorola. I have definitely seen game streams over there. They're not the normal game streams that I'm expecting, but there was a couple of years ago when Fallout 4 was just announced and they were shutting down everybody who was putting up any footage anywhere. That was a place that you could see the footage. That was the only place you could see the footage. So, Rabbit, I know that Mixer is gone.
I wouldn't know.
Mixer died horribly. That's the joke. That's the joke. All right. We love you guys. Thanks for coming. We will see you again sometime soon. Peace.
See ya.
Bye-bye.